So on what in the world happened at OpenAI? So in this video, I'll talk about two main reasons why he was fired and one main reason why he was brought back. But first, what I'd like to do is give you a little context on how did we get here? So what's the history of OpenAI? So in 2015, OpenAI was actually founded as a nonprofit. There are a certain amount of people that pledged about $1 billion to bring this nonprofit together. Some of those people include Elon Musk, Peter Thiel, Reid Hoffman, Sam Altman, Greg Brockman, and a few companies including Amazon and Infosys. Now, Elon Musk left in 2018 because the AI that OpenAI is really developing, there was a conflict of interest between what is being done at Tesla, so he decided to leave the board of directors. Fast forward to 2019, about 4 years after the company was founded, they're burning cash like crazy, so that $1 billion turned into $130 million because of the computing cost to run OpenAI. It's pretty expensive. For those of you that are running a business and you're using the enterprise plan, you can see those prices calculate. And if you're using a lot of different characters, you can see the prices rack up pretty quick. So expenses can get high. Now, around that same time, they decided to create a for-profit entity, a subsidiary of the nonprofit. And how it works is there would be a certain amount of revenue generated with the new products that OpenAI would create. We'll get to ChatGPT in a second. There would be a capped amount of profit that any numbers above that would be sent back to the nonprofit entity. But in other words, they had to unlock some kind of model, some kind of business model that allows this company to start making some money back. Because if you're spending a ton of money on AI and you're not bringing anything back into the company, you got yourself a problem. Okay, so 2019, the for-profit was created. This leads up to November 2022 when ChatGPT went live and extremely viral. We actually haven't seen anything, not too many things go this viral pretty much ever. Now, as soon as ChatGPT went viral, obviously a lot of noise was made. Just a few months later brings us to January 2023 when Microsoft decided to invest $10 billion for 49% ownership in OpenAI. Now we get to summer. This is actually July 2023 when WorldCoin went live. This was, as I talk about in another video, you can see below, is this the new world, single world currency? Probably not. And then it was kind of coupled with this orb, which I also made a comment about that. Looked like something out of a 1980s sci-fi film. I did not see any potential legs on that venture. Well, both WorldCoin and this orb, they pretty much were failed projects. Not much has happened since. And this brings us to November 17th, 2023, when Sam Altman was fired. And the two main reasons, these are really the two main reasons, could be among many, but based on my research, these two reasons make a lot of sense, and they're really two major lessons learned for other business leaders and entrepreneurs out there. So number one, decisions were being made without the board's approval. So when you're an entrepreneur, a business owner, and you're kind of doing things yourself, or you have a small team, you can make any kind of pivot, make any decision, you can do whatever you want, kind of free range. But as soon as you bring on a board of directors, you have to run decisions, especially big decisions, by the board. So let's say you're a tech startup, you're raising capital, get a few VCs to invest. Well, guess what? They're going to want to establish a board. And then you realize you can't move as fast as you once could. You have to set up meetings, you have to run ideas by the board, and they have to approve your ideas. In many cases, they may say, nope, not a good idea. You got to continue what you were doing and keep your mouth shut. Now, it's not always that harsh, but some cases it can be quite contentious. Same thing happens with a lot of publicly traded companies. You have a board of directors, the CEO, the C-suite, they can't be running like it's the Wild West. You have to be running ideas by the board. So with OpenAI, for context here, you have 770 employees and 700 employees roughly side with Sam Altman. It sounds like they really like working with him. What that tells you is you have an organization that's running very well together. And when you have a business like that, that's a great place to be. And what happens is you move fast with small decisions, mid-sized decisions, and those big decisions. And that's most likely what happened. We'll probably never find out what decisions were really being made. But when you're moving at speed, everybody's gelling, everybody's working well together, you're not going to stop and be like, you know what? Let's set up a meeting and let's run this by the board, get approval, and then we can move forward. It doesn't always work like that. I know when I've been working with really good teams, we move and we make decisions. We just want to get it done, provide value to the customer, and of course, generate revenue for the company. So I could see that being the logical place where Sam Altman and his team fell. Unfortunately, he got fired, and now he's back in the company. We'll get to that in a second. But yeah, that's the main reason. Can't be making decisions without the board, and it sounds like that is what exactly was happening. Now, number two, this is a big one. This is a really big one for really anybody working in AI, which is the safety of artificial intelligence. You have to slow down a little bit. So take a step back and look at another industry. We saw the train wreck story of Theranos a few years back. When you're dealing with a business that has a direct impact on human life, so I'm thinking about anything in like medical, pharma, biotech, whatever, you have to move slower. Yes, it's good to innovate. You want to stay ahead of competitors, but you need to bring in a board of directors to help make big decisions because you have human lives at stake. Well, guess what? AI, that's being moved to that same category. You have to move slower. And I think it's a great idea. And I think a lot of people agree with this. Even Satya Nadella, CEO of Microsoft, he said, this is good. We want to see more rigor. We want to see more governance being put in place to make sure we're looking out for the safety of humanity.
The war against the machines.
So there you go. Those are the two reasons he was removed from the company, which make total sense. It could really happen to anybody. And this will be a big lesson learned. Again, for anybody out there working in AI, you're going to have to probably move a little slower than what you would like, but it's for the best. Now the question is, why was he brought back to the company? Well, I kind of talked about that a minute ago. So 700 out of the 770 employees are actually writing a pledge saying that they would leave the company. Not saying everybody would stick to that and actually leave, but that's a significant number of people that could cause major disruption. I mean, that would bring OpenAI pretty much to its knees overnight. If everybody left, or 700 out of 770 people left, that's a problem. And that made enough noise to say, okay, let's think about this. Let's bring back Sam, and we might have to shake things up a little bit with the leadership team along with a board. And on that note, I want to touch on some of the changes here. So there's one remaining board member from the previous board. That would be Adam D'Angelo. He's the CEO of Quora. There's new players involved now. You've got Brett Taylor, who's the co-CEO of Salesforce, and Larry Summers, who's the Treasury Secretary of the Clinton administration. He's done a lot of other things since, but these guys have a lot of good business experience. There are people removed from the board that did not have business experience. They're more, we call them on the education side. They weren't business leaders or technology leaders. That would be Helen Toner, who is a researcher and director of strategy at Georgetown University. And then Tasha McCauley, who was a senior management scientist at Rand Corporation. Fun fact, she's actually married to the actor, Joseph Gordon-Levitt. But anyway, so the board is being kind of cleaned out. I was reading an article talking about the board was primarily composed of these more educational, scholar type people, not so much business and tech leaders. So now we're going to kind of shake things up, form a board that's more focused on business and tech. I think it's good. You'll have some people thinking about, generating revenue. That's where I would be. But also people thinking about the safety of OpenAI, because as we've seen since ChatGPT went live, this platform is moving fast and everybody's talking about AI. So take a step back, slow down for a second. Okay, so there you go. Two reasons why he was fired, one reason why he was brought back. Again, good lesson learned for anybody working in AI, but who knows, something may change tomorrow. Seems like there's news on this story happening every day, but this is the news as of right now. So hopefully this provides a little context on what's going on. If you like this video, hit that like button. If you want to see more videos like it, hit that subscribe button. And if you want to learn how to invest on your own and get involved with some companies that are using AI to build their business, I invite you to join Tykr for free.